Okay, our vice president was on with Joe Rogan again, and there is good news. Joe Rogan continues to fall down in the rankings as far as podcasters are concerned. What's even better news is who has overtaken them, and that is the Midas Touch, which is a left side politics and media outlet. And the fact that they are number one now is positive.
Yeah.
But he was on with Joe Rogan again. The suckfest between these two are just disgusting. But here's Vice President Musk talking to Joe Rogan about the Social Security in our country. Let's keep in mind that this is coming from a man who was born in South Africa and it was not born into this country, and also came to this country and worked here illegally when he first came here. But Sam, this is one of his heroes.
I mean, the government's one big pyramid scheme, if you ask me.
Yeah, well, you can tell me better than anybody.
Social Security is the biggest Ponzi scheme of all.
Did he just say, yeah, you could talk about this better than anybody? Is that what Joe Rogan just said?
Find it.
Government's one big pyramid scheme, if you ask me.
Yeah, well, you can tell me better than anybody.
Social Security is the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time.
Yeah.
Right, explain that.
Oh, so, people pay into...
He says, explain that. Tell me if you can understand the explanation.
So, people pay into Social Security, and the money goes out of Social Security immediately, but the obligation for Social Security is your entire retirement career. So you're paying you're paying like if you look at the future obligations of Social Security,
this guy's in charge.
Far exceeds the tax revenue. Far. Have you ever looked at the debt clock?
Yes.
Okay.
Joe Rogan's going to pretend like he knows what he's talking about.
There's our present day debt, but then there's our future obligations. So when you look at the future obligations of Social Security, the actual national debt is like double what people think it is because of the future obligations. So basically people are living way longer than expected. And there are fewer babies being born. So you have more people who are retired.
Not in your household.
That live for a long time and get retirement payments. So the future obligations. So however bad the financial situation is right now for the federal government, it will be much worse in the future.
I dare somebody to explain to me what the fuck he just said.
So we got it? I mean, to me, he made an argument for why we actually need immigration, right? Controlled immigration, not immigration out of control, because that keeps Social Security solvent. They pay into Social Security.
Right.
And cannot collect our Social Security. So they are the ones that keep it solvent. When you get all the immigrants, we're not going to have enough Social Security. That's why they want to kill us. Like literally, that's why RFK Jr. is like the head of the health department, because he just wants old people to fucking die. So they don't have to collect their Social Security anymore. That's probably the biggest plan. But that's why Nebraska, again, is going bankrupt.
Right.
Because they wanted to get rid of all the immigrants because they're motherfucking racist. And now what? There's no one to do the jobs.
That's an excellent point, by the way. But, again, people look at this Elon Musk like he's a genius. And you could tell even Joe Rogan, who tried his best to understand what he was saying. He couldn't understand what he was saying, but I think you and I, we've talked about this before. There's this really sad, pathetic thing in this country is there is this idolization of multi-billionaires, and what they equate with multi-billionaires is far exceeding intelligence than everybody else. Elon Musk has some intelligence somewhere in a tech industry. What it is and where it is, I'm not exactly sure. But overall, he's not a very intelligent man. And we have people out there thinking that this guy is the best person, the guy who receives subsidies from our government, the guy who is under investigation from the very departments that he is destroying.
under investigation anymore. Didn't they get rid of that? Like,
well, that's what I'm saying. He was under investigation
like,
from the department said he's destroying. Yes.
Exactly.
So how in the world is anybody looking at this? Because they love to use the word corruption.
Right.
How is this not corruption? And I made this point before, Lana. We have a government that says, I don't believe in climate change. Right. We have a government that subsidizes cars that combat climate change. If we have a government now that pulls out of the Paris Agreement and says we do not support climate change, then we should not support the subsidies that go to the cars that combat climate change. So why is Elon Musk getting money still to his companies?
Right.
Sam?
Because the nuclear weapons, they're lined up in front of Tesla. And
all right.